Hello, hi guys, welcome back to the Football Showdown channel. Welcome back to another player analysis for today. Today we have another player who's been linked to Arsenal for a while. He's been linked to Arsenal since Jorginho was bought by Arsenal. He's been linked to Arsenal. I've liked this player a lot. But before we talk into the player that I've been talking about, I have a small message for all you guys. If you are not yet subscribed, please keep subscribing as we're trying to hit that 500 mark as soon as possible. Keep liking, keep commenting, and keep sharing and keep supporting this channel as we are building this community, as we are trying to put in good quality and informative information for all the people out there. Now let's get back into the player analysis. Today we are analyzing a player that is much needed by the Arsenal team. To help us with that, we have a special guest who has helped us understand who Sesko is, who Nico Williams is. It is none other than our guest for today, Arush. Hey Arush, how
Hello
are you?
Suchit, I'm doing great. Euros are going great. Lots of unexpected games, underdogs performing. It's been fun.
Exactly. I mean, I was not able to follow majority of the Euro games because of personal reasons, but I've been keeping up with highlights, notifications, Twitter as always, being very lively regarding their opinions, in spite of many things. Let's not go into the harsh side of things, but today who are we analyzing?
We are analyzing Amadou Onana from Everton and obviously from the Belgium national team.
Right. I mean, he's a player that I've admired for a while saying just about 2-3 years. But when Belgium have not been performing well, at least he's been the for Belgium. How good is Onana, to be honest? Just let us know.
It's no doubt that Onana has been one of the most consistent midfielders outside the top six for like 2 seasons running now in the Premier
Hmm.
League, and that's resulted to him being a constant starter for the Belgium national team, and also his performances for Lille, which was
Hmm.
back in France. So Onana functions as a primarily as a high quality 6 to 8 hybrid who
Hmm.
slots into a double pivot for Everton, most probably with Doucouré. So he's known for making his commanding presence, obviously with his 6'4" frame that he has, his rapid pace and ball carrying, and also his obvious defensive prowess that he has.
Hmm.
So with lots of clubs monitoring his performances during this Euros, which he's already doing very well,
Hmm.
it's his hunger and then talent that makes him a very valuable asset to have in his side. So
Right.
it's no doubt that he's going to be everyone. He's going to catch everyone's eyes this Euros.
Hmm. Uh, we know Onana is available for about 50 odd million because Everton needs to sell as soon as possible. He's bought for I think 30 or 35 million. I'm not exactly sure about the
Yeah.
amount. So I think Everton selling him for 50 is sort of a bargain because he's been consistent over 2 years. His track record has also been good. But for sure he must be having something that is an issue in his gameplay. What are the slight weaknesses that that could be polished once he comes to the Arsenal?
So weaknesses, if we talk about when we compare him to the other defensive midfielders in the market, he
Hmm.
actually lacks this spatial awareness. If you go to see, like you
Hmm.
can make this out, you can make out through the eye test as well that
Hmm.
he sometimes doesn't manage to pick out the danger
Hmm.
areas. He loses the ball quite often. He gets too casual during patches of play, or even he gives the ball away too cheaply. So
Hmm.
I won't see these. I won't call these as weaknesses because these are obviously coachable aspects. It's part of Everton's game where they play those long ball under Sean Dyche, obviously. So his progressive passes aren't the most clinical if you go to see because
Hmm.
it's something that Everton play through. So I'm pretty sure if he comes for a side like Arsenal, a possession-based side, so he would actually dominate on the ball. So it's
Hmm.
something that is it would change through situation. So yeah.
Right. I mean, Everton do barely get the ball when they are playing, but I'm sure when it comes to strengths, he has so much in him. Like I can talk about the physicality, I can talk about the way he carries the ball and all that, but I'm sure you have better ways to put that out.
So yeah, if we talk about his strengths, he's obvious. His height is an obvious game changer both offensively and defensively because that height in set pieces, it's like a plus point that you have
Hmm.
both offensively and defensively.
Hmm.
So what I like about him is the most is the way he carries the ball because he's got such long legs that help him make quicker strides.
Hmm.
So it helps you in progressing up the pitch. and he actually runs like he's got a spring on his leg, so like he'll just
Right.
leap forward.
Hmm.
And he also uses his body very well
Hmm.
and receives the ball in the front row, gets to shield the ball when there is oncoming pressure on him, and it's
Hmm.
easy to get away from the pressure that is oncoming.
Hmm.
So he uses his body very well, which I said, which means he's physically he's always present physically.
Hmm.
So he rides challenges very well. He never backs down in a duel,
Hmm.
and what his technique in getting the ball away, very slight tackles, very elegantly by
Hmm.
not actually committing a foul to win the
Hmm.
ball back.
Hmm.
So to put some statistics into this, he's won 65% of the duels that he's committed in contested in the Premier League this season,
Right.
and that ranks him in the like 98th percentile, which makes him one
Hmm.
of the best in the league.
Right.
So he's surely up there with one of the best midfielders
Hmm.
in world football currently. Um, he's very proficient in build-up phase. So
Hmm.
he demands for the ball, points out to players where to play the pass. He plays like a proper regista role that Jorginho would play for Arsenal. But if you talk about the DLP sides, he's a bit
Hmm.
lower than Jorginho, obviously. So
Right.
he's got an
Right.
amazing turning radius that helps him progress with the ball, something that Declan Rice misses out on. So he
Hmm.
could partner up Declan Rice, work through his weaknesses. So it
Hmm.
would be a good partnership that they would play. And
Hmm.
also, technically, if you go to play him higher up the pitch, or if you ask about his passing range, he can play good one-twos. He can poke danger. He
Hmm.
can perform the touch and move skills. So he's good at that as well.
Hmm.
And lastly, like you had already mentioned, availability. So
Right.
availability is something that Arsenal can't really compromise
Hmm.
because they're bound to replace Thomas Partey, who does look like he's going off to Saudi Arabia. Like
Hmm.
we could get a good fee from him.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if you see Thomas Partey, he's just played or been available for just 50% of the games ever
Hmm.
since he's joined the club. So
Hmm.
you surely can't compromise availability at Arsenal.
True. True. I mean, it's kind of sad to see how Thomas Partey is barely available for us when compared to his availability at Atletico Madrid. Partly because of the medical staff's fault as well. Because you know uh, I do not know in depth about it, but what I've read is that he's not a great medical uh, expert because there were recurring issues with Santi Cazorla, and still he was not able to identify the issue. And then once he left Arsenal, he was able to resolve his issue. So I think partly that, as well as a lot of him as well, just not being fit enough for Arsenal. But like you said, when we need a player to complement or rotate with Rice, we do not have Partey. But Onana seems to have a great track record so far. Let's hope that stays like that. So if he comes to Arsenal, in your opinion, do you think he can complement and at sometimes even rotate with Declan Rice depending on the kind of style that we want to play in that specific game? How well do you think it will happen?
Yeah, so let's start by dissecting what he would actually do at Arsenal. So
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
Arsenal, his primary role would be to, as a midfielder, would be to defensively able to position himself, win the ball, win 1v1 duels, win aerial duels, and also stop any transitional threat that
Hmm.
comes our way.
Hmm.
So, in my opinion, he could either play alongside Rice or even he could act as a cover depending to game situations.
Hmm.
So, if Onana tucks in as a defensive midfielder,
Hmm.
he could provide Rice with the license to operate higher up the pitch and make strides attacking and like maximize his attacking capabilities. So if they both play, if Declan Rice proves to be a box to box for next season,
Hmm.
they could actually even interchange between game scenarios because both of them have the qualities to do so. So Onana's inclusion actually would better the resources for Martin Odegaard, obviously, because we've seen Martin Odegaard drop into deeper positions
Hmm.
and try to dictate play in the advanced zones uh, rather than playing himself in the advanced zones. He comes into deep, falling deeper, and then dictating play from there.
Hmm.
So that could quite change because Onana would take up his spot,
Right.
and ideally, Arsenal also do play lots of inversions. So
Hmm.
if we actually try playing Onana in midfield,
Hmm.
he could actually cover up for the wider areas. He could use his athleticism when Arsenal have fullback inversions being played.
Hmm.
So he could actually also be a great option when Arsenal do not have much of the ball. say in the Champions League matches or when they have to defend the lead, Onana could be deployed inside, win the ball, make his physicality just there in the game, and actually Arsenal could win out matches where they don't win possession.
Right, right.
So most probably he would tuck into a pivot with Rice, where it would obviously bring ultimate security to the defensive line and obviously make Arsenal one of the most physical sides in the Premier League. So
Well, it sounds all exciting, Like we do not know if he might come to the Arsenal, but he'll definitely be a great, great addition to any team in the Premier League. Um, Thank you so much for the analysis about Onana. Guys, let us know in the comment section who you guys think we should analyze soon or later. Do let us know if you agree with our opinions or even with the analysis of Arush. But in case you want to read about this specific player, Arush has a thread about it. I will link it in the description. Do check that out as well. I know some people are very fond of reading, so they might enjoy that more than just listening or seeing this video. So do check that as well because he's done a very, very good thread on Onana. Anyways, that's it, guys. Again, if you guys not yet subscribed, do keep subscribing to the channel. Do keep liking. Do keep commenting as well. Arush, any final words before we wrap up the video?
yeah, looking forward to more of doing such, and hopefully Onana proves to be a good prospect in the Euros, and then he can transfer into Arsenal just like that.
Hopefully. Anyways, we have two other players that we are lining up soon to analyze, so do check that out. Until we see you guys soon, till then, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Peace.